Everyone talks about discipline like it's the key to success. Like if you just had more of it, everything would fall into place. But I think most people don't actually have a discipline problem, they have a system problem. Because when you build the right structure, things start to happen automatically. You don't wake up wondering if you'll go to the gym or study or create. It's just a part of how your day runs. So, Drew, let me ask you, do you actually think people need more discipline or better systems?
It goes hand in hand. To start and to build your system, you need discipline. And then once your system's running, you have to have the discipline to stay in the train track. That's the hardest part. One, building the train track's the hardest part. So train track is the system, how it flows. Like, I'm going to spend, what are my priorities? I'm going to time chunk, time for Drew. We're going to walk. We're going to go to the gym today. We're going to take 15 minutes and journal. Whatever that looks like, you have to align it and optimize your day and still give grace. Systems fail, discipline fails, and it comes and goes. And so does motivation. So like we see the graphics where it's like discipline beats motivation every single time. Ebb and flow of life. I feel really good. January 1st is coming up. Everybody's going to go to the gym. What happens by March 1st? Half the people aren't in the gym anymore. So building the system and getting out of bed every morning, yes, you start flowing. You're in that flow state. And I think that's where it really, you begin to create something special, is when you're in that flow state and the system just processes with or without you. But of course, it's going to be with you.
When people say be disciplined, what do you think they're really missing when saying that?
When people say be disciplined, it means hold yourself accountable. I think discipline and accountability are directly correlated, and accountability is probably one of the most underrated skill sets out there right now. If you're going to say you're going to do something, you have to do it. And I think it speaks volume to who you are as a person. So like if I tell Keegan, hey Keegan, I'm going to deliver this pitch deck by tomorrow. Tomorrow comes around, there's either a yes or a no. Did Drew do it or did he not do it? If I do it, great. I met my deliverable. If I don't do it, excuses are going to come up. Keegan, this is why I didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. You start backtracking. Not a good look. Keegan loses trust. Keegan loses respect, whatever that might be, but life happens. But the most important part about discipline and accountability is saying you're going to do it and doing it for yourself. When I say I'm going to wake up at 7 a.m. and work out this morning, I see my alarm go off at 6:30. I press snooze. It's now 9 a.m. and I'm waking up. I let myself down. I wanted the best for myself in the moment when I said I want to wake up at 7 a.m. and go to the gym. I let myself down when I didn't do that. And you might not think it affects you in the moment, but I promise you it does.
Have you ever had something you stayed consistent with, not because of motivation, but because of the system just worked?
Something I stayed consistent with. There's a couple things. Sports are ultra consistent, ultra systems. You stay in the system. So being a football player for forever, it runs and flows. You go to practice, but then I had the extra system where it's okay. You go to school, then it's practice, then you go to the gym. That's just how my days were structured, and it was every single Monday through Thursday, and then Friday, it would be walk through to the gas station to get a bag of ice, to get a body armor, go to bed by 8 o'clock, wake up the next morning and do it all over again. And then that brought into college. Just practices are longer, meetings are extended, days are longer, but the systems are still there. So it comes back down to kind of those root core values. But if there wasn't a system in that, the discipline would have wavered. There would have been too many things going on all at once, and you get overwhelmed. Another thing is, this TikTok challenge I'm doing, motivation comes and goes. The why behind I'm doing the TikTok challenge is I can see the growth in myself, like getting familiar talking to a camera. I'm more confident in myself, like just the personal brand and structure of, Drew needs to carry himself well. I need to learn how to speak. That is the discipline and system behind it. So it's like today, I already know when I'm going to film. It's going to be right when you leave. I'm going to film like 2 or 3 videos, hopefully, just depending on how the content goes, and then I'm done. So just the systems throughout that, like if I didn't have a time block for it, it would be 9 p.m. and I wouldn't have a video, and I'd be like, crap, I didn't post today. And I haven't ran into that yet, but that's because the system's there, even though the discipline does, it wavers. Motivation wavers.
What do you think makes a good system actually stick? Because of the football example, you're in high school, you're kind of forced to show up to those practices. So what makes a good system stick when you're not necessarily required to be there?
The why behind it. If your purpose and passion and rhyme or reason isn't there, it's going to waver. Like, the reason my systems worked and I was so passionate, like, I wanted to become the best football player I could possibly be. Like, that was my vehicle to get to college. And then, when I was 5 years old, it was like, I'm going to be the best NFL player ever. But it's the rhyme or reason behind it. Having the bigger purpose, having the bigger vision. It's like, whether it's self-betterment, helping other people, all these great things and the purpose behind it, whatever that is, that's why the system works. And if you kind of step back and you're just kind of grogging along, for example, like, I think we ran into it a little bit with clubs. Clubs are like a system. You have XYZ meetings, you have XYZ events, you XYZ check the boxes, and then it's done. And it's like, well, what did you do? Oh, we had 2 speaker events. We had 50 people show up over the semester. Pat on the back. Good job. You were the president of the Entrepreneurship Club. That's how it ran. I couldn't get bought in behind it. And, that first year, that's why I kind of tried to shake it up so much going all last year. And it was like buy-in. Like, it all resorts back to buy-in. I mean, we talked about it even last night with some financial analysts. And it's like, what do you do in your job to, like, you have to have your rhyme or reason to do it. So that's why systems work. And if systems don't work, it's, I'd say 90% of the time because the reason, the why is not behind it.
Do you build your system around habits or habits around systems?
When I build my system, habits around systems or systems around habits? Habits around systems. Okay. I think I build my systems around my habits. And I could be answering this question wrong. But I think, even just thinking about sports, I mean, we're kind of talking about sports today. It's play to your biggest strength. I've always been a proponent in, like, especially in leadership, workplace, whatever it may be, like, play to your strength, play to your teammates' strength, like, let them do what they're good at, and we work on what they need to improve at. So then we're just becoming a well-rounded team. So I think, my habits, I'm going to say, are my strengths, stuff I do every day, whether that's I enjoy doing 45 minutes to an hour on the elliptical, whether it's I want to get 10,000 steps, whether it's I need to study for XYZ today. These things that I've made a habit and a routine in my life. It's how do I plug these into a system that I can optimize the day. And, life is not a game. Like, don't rush through it. Like, when I say optimize your day, I'm not saying, like, rush through life, days go by, like, build. I'm saying, like, have the most out of your day. Like, have a good day, I guess is what I'm saying when I'm saying optimize your day. So when you're building a good day and a system around that, it is, well, maybe I want to work out in the morning. That's a habit. I do that every day. Okay, I would like to go on a 45-minute walk and study financial markets. Okay, well, I probably have time for this around 2 to 3 p.m. and then I got to go to work. Let's start plugging these pieces, and then you can change the system around if it's not working. And it's like, well, man, I was burned out by 3 o'clock. I already sat through classes. I didn't want to study. Maybe I wanted to go on a walk, but I just wanted to scroll TikTok while I was walking. It's like, well, maybe we shift. Like, maybe we don't even need to study that day. You have, like, waver in your systems, but those habits, your strengths, are building upon that. And then, you just find different time blocks.
You mentioned working out in the morning. What other systems do you personally have in place right now that make your life easier or more consistent?
One thing is I started doing is put my toothpaste on my toothbrush before I go to bed. So brush my teeth at night, put my retainers in, and then I just squeeze a crap ton of toothpaste on my I'm a big toothpaste guy. I like toothpaste. Adeline, she doesn't use a lot of toothpaste, and I'm like, man, give me like half the tube. So I'm a toothpaste guy at night. That's something I do. So then when I hop out of bed, the first thing I do every morning, like, alarm goes off, and no snooze. Like, if I don't get up, it's like I'm going to go back to bed, and I'm not going to have an alarm, and I'm going to wake up somehow miraculously 5 minutes before I need to be somewhere, and I'm going to be rushing for the rest of the day. So what I do for that, like that's my habit. I know that about myself. I got to get up first thing, like whether that's 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., whatever time I set my alarm for that day, I have to get out of bed within like 3 minutes. But really, like, I don't know if you heard of the Mel Robbins, like 5-second rule. Count backwards from 5, and it's like, man, get moving. So hop out of bed. My first system is I walk into the bathroom, toothpaste is already on toothbrush. First thing, don't even have to think about it, already brushed my teeth. Then, if we hop in the shower, do whatever we got to do. Not shaving right now, trying to go no shave November for as long as I can. We'll see. Not a big facial hair fan except for the mustache. So that's but that's a habit. That's something I've pulled out of my system now. Typically, like during the summer internship, I'm shaving every day, but school is probably every 1 to 2, 3 days. So like those are my kind of morning systems. And then I'm a planner at heart. Like I know if it's, for example, if I was working today, I'm not working today because I have MBA class. However, if I was working today, when I left my apartment at 8 to head over to the library, I wouldn't have been stepping back into my apartment until 9:30 tonight. So it's like, man, I needed my work outfit. I needed to be wearing black pants all day. I need to do X, Y, Z. And it's like, these systems are there. So it's like, I already have my shirt in the car. I have a clean shirt in the car. I have X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Just silly one-off examples that will make my life easier besides me running back and forth to my apartment so I'm on time to everything. And that's the biggest thing. Don't be late. Like, I hate tardiness. Like, life happens, but like when I show up late, like it feels like it's a bad reflection about myself.
How do you make those systems simple enough that you'll actually keep them? Because I feel like a lot of people I know, they'll sit down and say, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. and structure my whole day. And they'll do that for 3 days and then they'll quit. So how do they make it actually stick?
Comes back to the why. Why are you doing it? What's the reason behind it? If I want to wake up at 6 a.m., is it because I can't work out at night? I get night jitters and then I'm not going to be able to fall asleep. And then I fall into this kind of rut of, man, I'm not going to bed till midnight. There's no shot I can wake up at 6 a.m. So what I do, I figured out what works best for me. Like it all works best for you. Sometimes, Tim, for example, the podcast we did, he wakes up at 4:20 every single morning. I'm not going to say I never see myself doing that, but even in corporate life, I was waking up probably 6 a.m. and I could get a good workout in and still be in the office by 7:30. And I was there an hour and a half before everybody. So it depends on you. It depends on what your values are. Maybe you value watching anime late at night at 12 to 2 a.m. It's like that is great. Like, embrace that. Embrace your uniqueness. Like, I love sometimes watching, I think we watched Dancing with the Stars, and I helped Daddy study till midnight last night. And it's like, stuff happens. You got to sacrifice for the people you love. However, man, make that a one-off event. Like, that can't, if your system keeps going, things can happen, blips happen, and maybe you have to sleep in a little bit more on a weekend, but accountability comes back to it. So having the rhyme or reason behind doing what you do, whether it's waking up at 6 a.m., because a lot of people wake up at 6 a.m., but it's like, you didn't need to wake up at 6 a.m. You could have woken up at 8 and still made it to your noon class on time with, now you have a workout in, rather than waking up at 6 and now you got 6 whole hours to a lot of downtime, empty time. And that's not a good thing when you're just kind of sitting on your hands like, oh man, I should have slept in more. So having the why behind it and then holding yourself accountable.
How do you adjust a system when life changes or the old one stops working?
Yeah, life comes in ebbs and flows and stuff happens. Different seasons of lives, really different personalities. Like, life changes. I am completely different than I was probably 6 months ago and definitely 18 months ago. And my values are different. So systems change. I think it's good to always kind of take that external step back and see what do I value? What truly makes me happy, and what am I doing in my day to, just spray a little bit of positivity to myself and to other people. And it's like, okay, the system, say it's 9 to 10, you're working out, blah, 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 blah. Like, they can change. Like, as I mentioned, like your habits, play to your strengths and just move the day around. So the system is constantly changing. And whether it's, this podcast is probably going to turn into a quick hit in 6 months. It's going to be like, hey man, like Keegan, we're not seeing each other anymore. So like our system, for example, our system's going to change in January. We're not going to be on site. I mean, we see each other 5 days a week. I mean, even I was thinking about it, we didn't see each other from Friday to Tuesday. And I was like, shoot, man, where's Keegan? Like, I need to rattle off this idea. So like, what's our system going to look like? Is it going to be quick hit? It's going to be something, but it's like stuff changes, and it's good to change. It shows the growth in friendship and growth in self and growth in, your system, and holding yourself accountable to what you value and, your morals and ethics. It comes back to, man, this is my space. This is what I love doing on Wednesdays. It's like, I got to replace this with something, but I also got to fill Keegan in. Like I can't lose that, if that makes sense. So systems change, values change, keep the things you value.
Do you think freedom comes from having more flexibility or having tighter systems?
If you have tighter systems, you have more flexibility. And why that is because, as I mentioned, systems change. So if you can be efficient and optimize your day, so if you can have a good day and get the things you need to be done, then freedom comes. Whether that's, man, you really want to go to lunch with your wife at 2:00 and, you just got out of this big meeting, take the time block. Whether it's you want to go to a Pacers game tomorrow night, like you have to make sure you got to adjust your system, whether it's you wake up an hour earlier and get everything you need done before you go to that Pacers game. Because the most important thing that comes with freedom is being in the moment. When you're doing something with people you love, doing something that is going to make you feel free, if you're not being in the moment, it's not going to be free. If you're thinking about work, if you're thinking about radio, if you're thinking about, man, I'm struggling for this exam, I can't believe I got XYZ score, gosh, blah, 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 that's not freedom. Your mind is somewhere else. So systems, I think, ease the ambiguity. So that's like the not knowingness. And like, when you have a good system and you can confidently say, I'm 100% all in this 45-minute, hour, 2-hour long session, it's like being where your feet are is freedom.
And then if someone feels stuck and undisciplined, what's the first system you tell them to build?
Write stuff down on paper. You hear it all the time, and there's been, the videos that saying like Harvard studies, it's, write down your goals in 5 years. Everybody raises their hand, and then who's wrote it down on paper? Only 5%, and they check back on the 5%, and 90% of them did what they said they were going to do. If you write it down on paper, you're going to begin seeing it more often. I think that's just the nature of the world. What comes and goes, what you put out is what you receive. It's like, man, I want to get an A in Finance 360. Let's write that down. What do I need to do to get an A? So then you start thinking like that. And once it's as simple as like A, Finance 360. And then it kind of, you start seeing it, your brain starts thinking about it, and it begins to come there. So write it down. Journaling is great, but it's really like when you write something down, you're stepping back, as I mentioned, kind of that external, 50,000 feet point of view. And it's like super high level, and it's a good space to be in. It's like, what did I do today? What do I want in my life? What does tomorrow look like? What did today do well? And it's like, if you get that down on paper, you start thinking about it more. And when you start thinking about it more, then you can start optimizing your system, which means creating a good day. What's a good day look like to Keegan Jones?
How do you know when to kind of have that switch on and off? For example, if you're watching Dancing with the Stars with your girlfriend and you look over on the fridge and you see, I want to get an A in Finance 360, your brain automatically goes into, okay, well, I need to probably study more and not do this. So how do you almost give yourself the permission to be like, okay, I've done enough studying for Finance 360. I can take this one-off moment and watch Dancing with the Stars?
Super difficult. That's a good question. It's something I haven't figured out yet. I have systems in place to where like I wouldn't have it on the fridge because my mind would go there. Like if I saw like Finance 360, dun dun dun, like my mind would go there. Or like, for example, I saw Eli Lilly ad on Dancing with the Stars last night, and that starts to transition. I'm like, oh, look at that. And then I start talking about it, and it's like, gosh, Drew, you got to stop being so weird. 1, people don't care. 2, 3, just sit down and be in the moment. It's something I wrestle with. Like, I have not figured it out, but I think what I have done is I'm cognizant of it, which is the first thing. And I guess to answer, I didn't answer your last question correctly. The first thing you need to do is become cognizant of what's going good and what's going bad, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, whether it's if you want to be in the moment watching Dancing with the Stars and not get, flustered and start overthinking about a grade. That is the first step. Then the second step is getting it on paper. It's like, I need to work on this. This is what I need to do. And when you hold yourself accountable throughout the day and your system works, if I can look back and say, man, I studied hard for this exam. I know I put something towards it today. I got 1% better today in whatever I was looking at. Just be in the moment. It's like, stuff spirals, life happens. You're going to get a phone call from a business partner one day and it's going to be 9:30 and you're going to be in the middle of the dance when they're judging, and it's like, you got to take that call. Like, stuff happens, life happens, but be in the moment with the people you value, and that's what freedom looks like. But that comes from holding yourself accountable and having the systems in place and being cognizant of those systems. So it's like, I can't have that written on the fridge. I need it tucked away in a journal that's in my backpack somewhere on a random piece of paper. Maybe I even threw it away. But like, just getting it out of my head at some point during the day is a system that I've created to where it's like, let's try to be 100% in the moment.
I think that's the real shift. Discipline fades, but systems scale. Once you design your environment to make the right thing the easy thing, you don't have to fight yourself anymore. You just live it. Drew, thank you for your time.
Keegan, thank you.